Hello there and welcome back to this Angular course. As always, great to have you here. So today we're going to be having a look at template-driven navigation in Angular. What you do need to note is that when I say template-driven navigation, it isn't actually sort of a coined term in Angular. So I made up the whole idea behind template-driven navigation, but essentially it just means that we navigate by clicking on a button. As opposed to code-driven navigation, at least that's what I'm calling it, which is essentially where we do go ahead and call a function, and we're going to go ahead and change the navigate to a specific component based on calling that function. That's just the difference. I thought I would explain it really quickly. But yeah, other than that, without further ado, let's have a look at template-driven navigation in Angular. Okay, so here we are, as always, in the code. Let's go ahead and open up our app here, and then in our application routing. No, not in a module. Let's keep everything as is. Oh my God, I'm opening everything accidentally. Let's close all of this. There we go. Let's go to app.component.html. There we go. Inside here we have this router outlet, and actually under here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a navigation, sort of like a nav bar. Kind of, but not quite a nav bar, just, you get the idea. We're going to have a place where we have links. So, we'll try to do some links here. So let's just do a href equals, let's do something like, I don't know, /first. A href equals /first. Yeah, just like that. Here we can do first. And then let's do the exact same thing, except here we're going to do second. So you're going to see that this is not necessarily what we want. Let me go and run this here. So cd cd unit 6 lesson 2. 3. I'm sorry, we're already on lesson 3. And let's do ngserve. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and get that running. Give it a second here. So yeah, essentially right now what we're trying to do. Let's also change this to second here. What we're trying to do is create a situation where when we click on first, it's going to give us this first component, and when we click on this second, it's going to give us the second component. So you're going to see that what's going to happen when we do go ahead and go to the browser here. First of all, let's go to, let's refresh. I think we need to refresh. There we go. So you can now see that we have this first and then second. Let me add a break here. There we go, much better. So now we have this first and then second. So let's click on first. And you can see that this is going to take us to this first component, right? So that's great, and then second takes us to the second, so that's awesome. But that's not necessarily how we want it to work. So do you see how the page refreshes here? So that's not really what we want, right? So what we want ideally, since this is a single page application, what we would ideally want is for it not to refresh, but just update the actual document. So to do that, what we're actually going to be using is the router link directive. Okay, so in order to use the router link directive, what we would do here, actually we can just go ahead and replace this href with router link. Not too complex at all. So let's just go ahead and replace that. Let's save that. Then let's go ahead and go to Chrome, and now when we go to first component, you're going to see that it doesn't actually refresh, right? So you see that before, when we had this, let me actually go to now what I'm going to do here. I'm gonna have the second component use href. There we go. So the link to the second component is going to use href, and the link to the first component is going to use the router link. So when we navigate to the first component, you're going to see that it doesn't refresh. When we navigate to the second component, however, you can see that the page refreshes. First, no refresh. Second, refresh. There we go. Okay, so one final thing that we're going to have a look at in this lesson is something called router link active. So this allows us to add CSS classes to a link that is actually active. So let's go ahead and go to our global styles.css. There we go, where we can add global styles. And here let's just assign an active class, and then here we'll just do something like, let's do background-color. And let's just set it to something like, I don't know, maybe black. Yeah? Yeah. Wait. That won't work, will it? Because the text is black. All right, let's do gray. That'll do. Okay, gray. Close that. And now, right here, what we're going to do is we're going to do router link active. There we go. Whoops, that's not router link active. We got to do it manually here. Router link active, and assign it the active class if it is active. So let's go ahead and add that there and here as well. There we go. Save that. Let's go ahead and go to Google Chrome. Let's go to first, and there we go. You can see now that first is now gray, and if we go to second, well, actually, you know what? That for second it actually won't work well since we do have an href there. So we need to use the router link here instead of the href in order for it to actually work. There we go. So now second is gray, and then here first is gray. All right, awesome. And that is actually how we use the router link active to add CSS classes to our links that are actually active. And if we actually do go ahead and go to the inspector here, go to the elements, and make it a little bit bigger. If you do have a look at the elements, let's go ahead and inspect first. There we go. And you can see now that we do have, where is it? Class active. There we go. You can see that we do have that there. And here, we just have class without the active. If we go to second, you can see that this updates. This no longer has the class active, and this now has the class active. That's how that works sort of under the hood. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, nothing too complex here. But yeah, there you go. All right, and in the next lesson, we're going to be having a look at code-driven navigation. So essentially, we're going to be having a look at instead of clicking on a link to go to a specific component, we're going to have a look at actually, calling a function or maybe handling, essentially how we can navigate to a different component in the actual TypeScript code, and not by clicking on a link. So without further ado, I'm going to see you there. Till soon.